When I hear all the gas bags talking about Hillary Clinton and whether she can win the presidency, I often think they get too wrapped up in things that nobody's going to care about in 2016. You know, should she have criticized Obama on foreign policy? Did they hug it out? What about that? Should she have said that she was dead broke when she and Bill left the White House? No, she shouldn't have. She's made a number of mistakes on this campaign disguised as a book tour. And, you know, are we sick of the Clintons and we want Bill back in the White House and all of that? And I look at that and I often think there's two things that are going to matter when Hillary runs, if Hillary runs. She's obviously running, when the election comes around. And these are the two things. One, who are the Republicans putting up? Who's she going to run against? Obviously. But perhaps even more important, will Hillary Clinton be perceived as serving Barack Obama's third term? It's really interesting if you look at recent American history. I think the public likes to sort of have the White House swing back and forth between the parties. A great reluctance to award one political party three straight terms in the White House ever since the days of FDR, who, of course, served, I was going to say 4 terms, part of his 4th term, and then Harry Truman took over and then won election on his own. So that was 20 straight years the Democrats controlled the White House. But since then, there's been one time that a party got 3 straight terms, and that was when George Bush Sr., George H.W. Bush, ran as a kind of a kinder, gentler version of Ronald Reagan and succeeded his president, the vice president did, in 1988. But interesting piece in the Daily Beast by Jeff Greenfield saying, well, not so fast on this conventional wisdom, because there were a couple elections in there that easily could have gone the other way. 1960, Jack Kennedy beat Vice President Richard Nixon, who would have served Eisenhower's 3rd term in effect, by such a small margin that maybe if they hadn't stolen some votes in Chicago, it might have gone the other way. And then, of course, 2000, had it not been for some butterfly ballots in Palm Beach County and the recount, an extraordinary close election, Al Gore would have served Bill Clinton's 3rd term in effect, and George W. Bush would have lost, as he did indeed lose, the popular vote. But I still think, despite those examples, that there's an innate sense in many voters that once a party has had 8 years, that maybe it's a little bit tired. It also accumulates a lot of baggage. And gets blamed for everything that is going wrong. And things are not going tremendously well in the country right now, either in terms of the economy, foreign policy, you name it. So Hillary Clinton, as a lot of pundits have observed, has to find a way to separate herself from Barack Obama and not run as his extension as a 3rd term. But, of course, she was his Secretary of State. So I think this 3rd term curse, if you will, even though there's been some very close elections in the last 40 years that might have gone the other way, could prove to be, if not a deciding factor, a really significant factor in whether or not the country, depending on who runs, decides it's time to turn the White House over to the Republicans.